I got Terrifier 3 Backlash, which I cannot believe, over a position that I thought was fairly benign to take on my shorts. I will give a brief review after this, and it will have spoilers in it because I tend to meander on. But what I went to go to the theater to see it, a sold out crowd, which I kind of expected. What I did not expect was to see families bringing their several families bringing their children. I'm not talking about the 12 to 13-year-olds who came in there. That's what kids are going to do. Like that type of age. 13, 14, they're going to come in there. And if the movie theater let them in there, I don't think it's the best idea. I would say 15 or over, but okay, fine, whatever. It's a different generation. Maybe they're ready for it. If you bring, which I basically said on my short, your child who is 5 or 6 years old, one of whom could not stop crying throughout this gruesome picture. Now, you'd think a parent would be, you know what was I thinking? Let me bring that child out. No, they had to see it, and they're too cheap for a babysitter. I just said you are human garbage and should be investigated by DCFS. Am I wrong? I guess maybe I am. I don't know. And I said, I think the theater holds some culpability for this child's trauma, as Jamie Lee Curtis likes to say. She has a speech disorder? Her trauma. Remember that shit? I got so many negative comments from Gen Z, and I could tell because I looked at some of your profiles, and I just have to say, aren't you the anti-bullying generation? Because it sure wasn't about my take. It was about, your hairline is barely hanging on. Hey, it's called a buzz cut. I'm going to be 50 in about a year and a half, and at least I have hair. Let me see you at 48. That's all I'm going to say about that. You're dumb, everything. I was just kept getting notification after notification. Some did agree, but they were so annoying. I said, you know what? Hey, fuck it. My channel, I'm deleting. You can't say shit now. I'll just leave it out there and no comments. And if it happens this way, I'll just either delete you if it gets to be too much. I'll turn the comments off in this video. It's a shame. I just don't want to see the notification every 5 seconds. Sure, there's a way to turn it off. I don't feel like it. Review, Terrifier 3. Disappointing. Because it had potential. This is not a good film franchise. I don't know. I don't understand these people. My buddy Eric from Hey Internet Eric here said it best. The horror community is seriously probably just as bad, maybe if not worse, than the science fiction community. They will defend shit that has no defense in it. And if you have an opinion that goes against the grain, you are a piece of garbage. You should have been aborted. We're talking about a movie. Do you think the director cares about you? Do you think any of the cast, like, douchebag 224 really put him in his place? They don't. You're a loser. All right? I'm just going to say it plain. So, I am not a big fan of this Terrifier series. Saw Terrifier 1. I was bored out of my mind. The gore, I didn't think it was anything that stood out, really, to me. It was horrible porn-level acting. It made porn people look like Meryl Streep. It made them look like they were Academy Award nominees, every single one of them. Horrible acting, horrible plot. It's a nonsense plot. Part 2 didn't do much better. They had one really good kill. We all know the bedroom scene. I was like, well, okay, that was intense. If it had been played by a better actress, it could have even been more intense. All right? And then that's when we started bringing the new final girl. The girl who, all I had remembered from Terrifier 2 was how ridiculous I hated the plot. How she became some superhero who was meant to be some warrior princess. And then didn't she die and come back to life and she's walking, like, what are we talking about? Are we making a horror movie or are we taking acid? Can you tell me which it is? And if we're going to keep introducing new plot devices, like the first victim from the film being around, then giving birth to Art the Clown's head, what? Can we explain? Who is Art the Clown? Why are we in the third entry in this franchise and we don't know who he is, where he came from, or at least what his purpose is? I think by the third you should answer or hint at least some of them. Which all the family, you just didn't pay attention to scene 46.8. Fuck you, okay? Seriously. They don't know yet. That's what it is. They don't know what to do. Somebody eventually will come along and, make up something, but it's nonsense shit. But I have to say, saying all that, I hope you stuck with me this far. Terrifier 3 had the most potential, and I was kind of excited for the first good 30 minutes of it because it felt the most cohesive. Best opening I've seen in a horror movie in a while. I will give it that. It felt like Scream mixed with Black Christmas. Art the Clown didn't seem as clowny and, buffoonish to me as he had in the previous films. He did later because, of course, they went and gone fucked it up. But, so yeah, there was that. And then we follow the girl from part... I'm going to forget her name. The girl from part 2. We follow her. And I will say... I don't know if she took acting classes or something in between. Everybody else apparently didn't because the acting is just as bad as the previous two. But she nailed it. I was very impressed with her. She has to show her mental breakdown. She does a particular scene at the dinner table and another one where she actually sees Art the Clown for the first time at the mall. And her acting was really amazing. So I take back what I said about her from part two. I think maybe she was just new. She had to get polished. She was able to pull something out of her in that role. And I think I will give credit where credit is due. She was amazing in this. She showed amazing progress as an actress. And I think now, I didn't think in 2, I think now she definitely has a future. And it should be any kind of movie, drama, whatever. She's not just going to be a scream queen. I think she could be a star. She is better than Jenna Ortega. I'll say it right there. I mean, Jenna Ortega, what does she do? Look confused most of the time. This girl really acted her ass off. Then we have the nerdy brother who... he was in the movie. And, yeah, okay, so we'll get to the kills. Were they brutal? Yes. Were they walk out, vomit yourself brutal? If you've seen Evil Dead circa 2013, if you've seen any of the Saw films, if you've seen any of those Japanese, like, guinea pig movies or anything like that, you should not be surprised by any of this, and it'll seem tame to you. To me, I've seen tons and tons of horror films. This was nothing that I went, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, or I was stunned, or even necessarily grossed out by. What I was offended by this movie was it seemed to be going maybe in a slasher teen direction that I liked. It was a college, but whatever. Acting had gotten a little better, but they keep introducing stupid-ass lore and not explaining this villain to me at all. Michael Myers, he came back because, well, at first it was because it was his sister, but then they changed that after part 2. But it's his hometown, Haddonfield. He killed his sister. He's essence of pure evil. Jason, big old mama's boy, came back because maybe he saw his mom get killed, maybe he didn't, but he definitely doesn't want anybody in Crystal Lake. Freddy Krueger came back because they fucking burned him alive after they found out, the adults did, they found out that he was a child killer. And so then he went after all the kids of the adults. Art the Clown. What? Why? Who? What? And then Dead Girl walking around with him because she's some vessel for him, even though he's still walking around and active without her, which, okay. And then we get to the finale of the movie, and that's where I gave up hope for the franchise. That's where I was with you, and then we got to the very last 10 minutes, and this other supernatural element, poltergeist, basically started in the last 10 minutes of this film. And I literally rolled my eyes about 5 times and almost like, you had me and you lost me almost. That ending was so stupid. And I heard several people on the way out say that was really, basically agreeing with my sentiment on that. Now, the younger people, the 16-year-old, 17-year-old, the shower was awesome. It was decent. It was. It didn't match the intensity or depravity of the scene in 2, a bedroom scene. So if you're thinking that, it didn't match that at all. Came a little bit close, but not really. And again, I think some of that has to do with bad acting. When you see somebody who's a really good actor going through pain, I mean, you'll believe it. When you see they're just typical, stereotypical slasher kids, you're just like, oh, well, that was a cool effect. Oh, he got a chainsaw up his butt. That was the highlight of the movie, I guess. That was supposed to be the gory big kill that everybody was talking about, the chainsaw up the ass. Or it's supposed to be the beginning because a child got murdered. It's been done in movies before. I don't know why people are acting shocked. They didn't show it. I thought that was the one classy thing the director did. And again, the movie isn't bad, but let's call it for what it is. It's a mindless gore fest. That's what this movie is. And it's decent at that. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's pretty decent at it. You're not going to be bored. I'll put that to you. And it was the best I've seen as not a big fan of the franchise. It was the best one I've seen of the franchise until they decided to ruin it and introduce more lore that makes no sense whatsoever and just say, well, Terrifier 4 is coming. Guess who's not going to be there? Because I don't care at this point. I can't make myself care. I don't, you got to give me some reason why this clown's doing this. Some reason. Even if you just have a one-liner, oh, he's the essence of evil. He saw Bozo as a kid and was traumatized and killed his family and took too much X-Lax and shit everywhere and kids laughed at him, so now he kills people on Halloween. I mean, anything. Give me something, all right? And the puppet woman, whoever she was. I know it was the victim from the first film, but... What? What? So basically, that's pretty much my review. First 30 minutes, oh my God, they really picked it. This is going somewhere. This is a really good slasher film. The rest of it, bad acting and,